Did you know that some people can influence those around them just by speaking or even with a simple look? They don't have magical powers or out-of-this-world charisma, but they do understand certain psychological tricks that give them an incredible advantage in any situation. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt ignored, as if your ideas or voice carried no weight? Have you ever wondered why others seem to get what they want, while you remain in the shadows? Here's the truth. Control is not about manipulating others, but about understanding how the mind works to create real connections and achieve remarkable results. And in this video, I'm going to share with you 10 psychological tricks that will help you do just that. But be careful, because the last one is so powerful that, if used correctly, it could transform you into someone others admire, follow, and respect effortlessly. So stay tuned, because this won't just change your relationships, it will also boost your confidence. Before we start, I want you to pay close attention to this story, because it holds a powerful lesson that will change the way you interact with others. Once upon a time, there was a young man named Daniel, known in his circle as the Invisible Guy. In meetings, no one paid attention to him. At work, his ideas seemed to go unnoticed. In his personal life, he felt like his decisions were always dependent on what others wanted. One day, tired of living in the shadows, Daniel decided to search for answers. That's when he met a mentor, an older man with a gaze so serene yet so intense. The mentor told him something he would never forget. People are not uncontrollable. You simply don't know how to communicate with them. Daniel's mind was intrigued. He began to observe and apply small changes in his behavior, the power of silence at the right moments, the use of strategic questions to guide a conversation, and even how his posture could change the way others perceived him. The transformation was drastic. He went from being invisible to someone whose opinion everyone sought. He projected confidence without even raising his voice. But the real breakthrough came when his mentor shared the ultimate lesson. Control is not about dominating others, but about learning to lead your own behavior. That day, Daniel realized it wasn't about manipulation, but conscious influence. And that is precisely the kind of wisdom these psychological tricks will give you today. So, if you've ever felt like Daniel, trapped in a role that doesn't truly represent you, stay until the end, because the last trick will make you say, "This is me. This is my best version." Now let's begin. Knowing when to take a detour is crucial, but here's the catch. Not everyone is good at interpreting these signals, and it takes practice. Observe subtle gestures, the way someone moves their hands, their tone of voice, or even how their posture shifts when discussing certain topics. For instance, if someone avoids eye contact, it could indicate discomfort or even dishonesty. But this isn't just about spotting lies. It's about understanding what truly drives a person. Paying attention to basic emotions like joy, sadness, anger, and fear is essential because they are universal. If you can identify when someone is excited or worried, you can adjust your approach for a more effective connection. This applies not just to deep conversations, but also to everyday situations, like negotiating a price or persuading someone. Reading emotions gives you a strategic advantage, like playing emotional chess, where every move is more calculated if you understand your opponent. So start observing beyond words and let emotions be your guide. The power of questions. Asking the right questions is an underrated but powerful skill, especially when you want to influence or control a situation. It's not about bombarding someone with questions, but selecting the right ones that provoke thought and lead them to give you the information you need. Think about it. Which question is more effective? Why did you do this? What led you to make that decision? The second question is less confrontational and encourages open discussion. Open-ended questions are your best allies because they prompt detailed responses, revealing emotions and even hidden intentions. For example, in a negotiation, instead of asking, "Are you interested in this deal?" try saying, What would make you feel completely satisfied with this agreement? See the difference? The second approach invites the other person to engage in the conversation on your terms. Also, follow-up questions show genuine interest, which helps build deeper connections. Here's another trick. When someone answers a question, ask follow-up questions to dig deeper. Think of it like digging a well. The deeper you go, the higher the chances of finding water. And the golden rule: don't just ask for the sake of asking, truly listen to the answers. Active listening strengthens. Use the power of active listening to build connections. Listening is like having a superpower. While it may not seem as flashy as flying or invisibility, it can completely change the way you connect with people. Why? Because everyone loves to feel heard, but very few people truly listen. Most people listen just to respond, not to understand. That's where you can stand out. The next time someone talks to you, instead of thinking about your response or offering advice too quickly, really listen. Nod, make eye contact, and ask follow-up questions like, "What happened next?" or "How did that make you feel?" This shows that you care and makes the other person lower their guard. Active listening also includes paying attention to what isn't being said. If someone is speaking but seems uncomfortable, anxious, or avoids certain topics, that's a valuable clue. Demonstrating empathy doesn't mean agreeing with everything, but rather acknowledging their emotions. Simple phrases like, "I can imagine how difficult that must be for you," can go a long way in building trust. When you truly listen, you gain a strategic advantage. You understand people better, allowing you to connect in a more genuine way. Here's a psychological trick. When someone feels heard, they're more likely to trust you and be open to your influence. 21-23. So, be willing to listen. It's a two-way exchange, not a one-way street. Active listening isn't just a tool to influence others. It's a way to build authentic and strong relationships. So next time someone approaches you, give them your full attention. Remember, listening is much more than just hearing. Master your emotions to stay in control. Self-control is the secret behind those who seem unshaken, even when everything around them appears to be falling apart. This isn't magic. It's a skill you can develop. First, recognize that your emotions belong to you, and no one else has the power to control them unless you allow it. If someone makes you angry, it's not their words that hold power. It's your reaction to them. A fundamental Stoic principle states, you can't control what happens around you, but you can always control how you respond. Imagine you're in a soccer game and someone yells an insult at you. If you react with anger, you're handing over control of your emotional state. But if you take a moment to breathe and decide it's not worth your energy, you keep the power in your hands. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions, but learning to manage them. A simple yet effective technique is counting to 10 before responding in tense situations. It sounds like a cliché, but it works. It gives you time to think clearly instead of reacting impulsively. Another powerful strategy is reframing the situation. Instead of thinking, "This person is trying to ruin my day," shift your perspective. "They're probably having a bad day, and it has nothing to do with me." This mental shift frees you from carrying negative emotions that don't belong to you. And don't forget, managing your emotions doesn't just benefit you, it also affects how others perceive you. Someone who stays calm under pressure radiates authority and confidence, two irresistible qualities when it comes to influencing others. Create expectations and maintain mystery. Mystery is one of the most powerful psychological tools you can use. People are naturally drawn to what they don't fully understand or can't immediately grasp. Why do movies save the best moments for the climax? Why do TV series end every episode with a cliffhanger? Because they know our minds crave closure. To apply this in your life, create an air of intrigue. Instead of revealing everything at once, keep some details to yourself. For example, if someone asks you a personal question, instead of giving a detailed answer, say something like, "That's a long story." This kind of response sparks curiosity and makes people want to know more. Also, avoid being predictable. If you always act the same way, or say everything you think without a filter, you become easy to read, and eventually, boring. Even in close relationships, maintaining a balance between sharing and holding back can keep the spark alive. Mystery is also about how you present yourself. It doesn't mean being overly reserved, but choosing what to reveal and when. For instance, if you have a special talent, like playing the guitar or cooking exceptionally well, don't showcase it immediately. Wait for an unexpected moment. The impact will be far greater. Another trick? Don't be in a hurry to reply to messages or calls. This doesn't mean playing hard to get, but rather showing that you value your time and aren't available 24/7. This creates a dynamic where people are naturally drawn to you because your attention isn't something they can take for granted. Mystery isn't just a trick, it's a way to maintain attention and respect from those around you. We've now reached the end of this fascinating journey through 10 psychological techniques that can try